You don't need money to start deal sourcing, and you don't need to be compliant because you can co-source with someone who is compliant. These two statements are not true, and we're going to break it down in this video. We're going to break down exactly how much it costs to get compliant to start deal sourcing, and we're also going to break down why you can't co-source under someone else's compliance umbrella. Make sure you watch this video to the end because we've got a bonus tip for you on how you can save money for compliance.
Ooh, can't wait for that.
So first things first, you're going to need to get your company set up to deal source. So that's a cost already. There's three main ways that you can get a company set up. So number one, you can do it yourself on the government website. Number two, you can use a third-party company, something like Rapid Formations or Companies Made Simple. We've used Companies Made Simple in the past to set up a company. Does what it says on the tin, Companies Made Simple.
Quite simple when you make company made simple.
Pretty simple. But again, that's a little bit more of a cost than setting up yourself. And then number three is you can get an accountant to do it. That way you've got the peace of mind that it's set up properly. But again, that's going to come at a cost.
Now, with Companies Made Simple or getting your accountant to do it, you can use Company Made Simple's business address, what they give you, or your accountant's address. And it's better than putting your personal address on the company's house because that will be there forever.
Once you've got your company set up, you're going to receive some documents in the post. And there's an important letter that's going to include your UTR number, your unique taxpayer reference number. And you're going to need that for when getting compliant, but we're going to cover that a little bit later on, so don't go anywhere. Give a fuck. Go watch someone else's shit. Before we carry on, if you guys want to partner with us and make some money together, then join the Dealers Club. This is where we teach you how to find property deals. We then sell the deals to our investors, and we split the sourcing fee that we charge the investor 50-50 with the person who brought us a deal. The average deal that we sell, we charge a £5,000 fee to the investor, so that's £2.5 for us, £2.5 for you. We've got around 15,000 investors that are hungry, looking for deals, and we need you guys to bring us deals so that we can sell them to those investors. Check out the links in the description. Let's get back to the video. Once you've got your company set up, you're going to need to get compliant. There's no shortcuts around compliance. You need to get it done. If you're going to be deal sourcing and you haven't got your company compliant, then you're at risk of getting heavy fines.
There's a lot of people that say that you can deal source with other people that are already compliant, which means you don't need to get compliant. Absolute bullshit. Both parties will get a fine. We've seen proof of people getting fined. We'll put it on the screen now.
And if you want more proof, I'll put a document in the description. Have a little read through that. Yeah, if one party's compliant and one party isn't, and you're selling deals together, both are at risk of getting fines. The only way that could work would be if he was employed by the compliant company. There's no shortcuts. Get compliant.
How do you do that though, Dill?
You tell me.
So there's 4 things that you need to be compliant. First one is, what is it, Dill?
Oh, I don't fucking know. I'll give it to you. What is it? I forgot. So, first thing first, you want to get the right insurances. So, what insurances do you need?
No, I just can't keep doing this. The first insurance you need is professional indemnity insurance. And the second one is public liability insurance. So, professional indemnity insurance, what does it do? What is it? And how much does it cost? You're in a profession and it indemnifies you if you fuck up, basically. So, if you give the wrong advice or you misrepresent something or do something wrong, it covers you for that. You're going to need around 100k worth of coverage. So, the second insurance that you need is public liability insurance. This basically protects the public if anything happens to them and it's your fault. You need £2 million worth of cover as a minimum. In general, it's better to get more cover. The more cover you have, the more protected you are, and it doesn't cost much for the sake of an extra 50 quid, an extra 100 quid. You get loads more cover. The final insurance that you might need, the only reason you'd need it is if you have employees. If you don't have employees, you don't need it. So that obviously protects you against your employees making a claim. So say if there's a wire left out in the office and someone falls over and smashes their face on the table and then catches the corner of a chair, like they're smashing their balls, and they like fall down the stairs and break their neck, and then fucking like they're probably going to claim on you. Ooh, can't wait for that. So all of this is going to set you back around 300, 350 quid. When we started, we spoke to a lot of brokers that didn't even know what deal sourcing was. Anyway, now we've got the best broker in the country. So if you want to speak to them, the link will be in the description.
So you've got all of your insurances in place. Now, the second thing that you're going to need to get compliant is you need to register with a property redress scheme. So you can either use the property redress scheme, PRS, or you can use TPO, the property ombudsman. Put links in the description for both of those. We've always gone with PRS. They both do the same thing. So,
and with the PRS, it's going to cost you you £145 plus VAT. That's the entry level. You can get the more expensive version. Covers you for more stuff. It's up to you what you do. What it does is basically, say for example, you have a client and they've got a complaint about you. Now you guys have both exercised all options, exhausted all options with them, and you can't come to a resolution. That's what they're there for. So you need that to be compliant. So the third thing that you need to be compliant is the ICO. So Information Commissioner's Office. It allows you to handle customer sensitive information like address and stuff like that. You're going to be dealing with investors' details, vendors' details. So you have to have that. How much is it?
35 quid a year or 40 quid a year. Depends if you use direct debit or not.
It's a bit pointless. Like you're just paying a random company £35 and now all of a sudden you're allowed to access people's, handle people's details, but whatever. That's just what you need to do to get compliant.
Data protection, do it.
What's next?
Oh, I've been waiting a long time for this one. Number 4, the final thing that you need to become compliant is to register with HMRC for anti-money laundering supervisions. Before you do that, you need to do some training on anti-money laundering. So we're going to put a little training course in the description. We don't get any affiliates from it, unfortunately. I did ask them, but they didn't want to do that. But we'll put it in the description anyway. It's like 25 quid. Yeah. So once you've completed the training course, doesn't take that long to do, you will get a certificate, and I'm pretty sure it's valid for 2 years. Once you've got that certificate, you can then fill out the application with HMRC for anti-money laundering.
We'll put the links for all of this stuff in the description.
So go through the application with HMRC. I'm not going to go through every single question and how to answer it. Pretty self-explanatory. Once you've gone through it and you submit the application, you are now able to trade. Also, remember at the start of the video, I said you need that letter with the UTR number. You're going to need that for filling out your application. So wait till that comes in the post, then fill out the application. Now, once you've submitted the application, you're able to trade. If they come back to you with like any questions or they need you to change something on the application, they'll message you on the portal. So make sure you keep logging in and checking. If there is anything that they need changing, just rectify it. But yeah, you're able to trade. That's going to set you back around, I think, 300, 400 quid, and that's every single year as well. So you've done all 4 of those steps. You've got your company set up, you've got your company compliant. Keep it moving.
So yeah, I just added that up, and those 4 things total to just under £1,000, basically 959 quid, sort of worst case as well. So you can get sort of cheaper deals on the insurance and stuff like that.
But also there's a cost of setting up your company. So
just call it £1,000.
You need about £1,000 to get your company set up and get compliant so that you're ready to deal source. So no, it's not free. So as you can see, anyone who's telling you that you can start deal sourcing for free, it's just complete bullshit. So yeah,
chat about moo.
Another thing as well, people say that you need to get client money protection and a client account for deal sourcing. Now, this is not a legal requirement for deal sourcing. Let me tell you why. This is a little bonus tip as well. So yeah, make sure you're listening. So with client accounts, there's 2 different types of client accounts that you can get. So you can either get a designated client account or an undesignated client account. So an undesignated client account is where you can have multiple different investors paying into one client account. And a designated client account is where you can have a separate client account for each investor. Now, your bank will only offer you, if you try to get a client account, a designated client account, which is just not practical for deal sourcing. Because let's say, for example, you're dealing with multiple investors, it takes a few days to set up a client account. So if you want them to pay a sourcing fee, you're going to have to go through like applications and try to get a client account set up just to get their reservation fee.
Yeah, so imagine you're constantly waiting and trying to set up loads of different client accounts, and then by the time it's set up, the investor was like, I'm not going ahead on that deal, and all this stuff. Like, it's just really not practical.
Yeah, like you're trying to get a client account set up and then you might have to refund the client, and then you might never even work with them again in the future. So the whole thing was just pointless. Getting the client account set up, like one of those client accounts, it's just not practical and it's not actually needed. So a much more practical way that you can do it, and it's also perfectly legal to do, is to have a separate bank account that you use for your investor funds. So that could either be a savings account or it could be a sub account. So before setting up a business bank account for your deal sourcing business, if you was to call a couple banks, you can just ask them if they allow you to set up sub accounts within the same bank account. So that way you can keep your business current account separate to your investors' funds. So for example, Tides, you're allowed to have 4 sub accounts and a savings account. So you can have your business current account and you can have a separate bank account where you receive your investor funds. Loads of different banks do it. Lloyds do it, Revolut do it, Barclays do it. Just phone up your banks. But the most important thing, which I've found, is to get one where you can directly bank transfer out of the client account. And this is important because, for example, with Lloyds, if you receive money into the sub account and you need to refund the investor because they've pulled out of the deal, you have to send that money into your business current account to be able to refund them, which is just not practical. But for example, Revolut or Tide or Barclays, you can send money directly out of the client account or the sub account. Saves a lot of time, saves you moving money into your business current account.
So basically, just to make it very simple, you don't need a client account. It's not a legal requirement. You can just use a savings account or a sub account because it's just easier to separate it. Like if you've got your own money in one account and then your investors' money in another account. That's not your money until the deal completes or exchanges or whatever you've agreed with the investor. So you can't touch that money until the deal's complete.
And if you really want to, you can speak to a few different insurance companies that offer client money protection and ask them if it's a legal requirement to have it for your type of business, if you want that peace of mind.
Yeah, don't take it from us.
Don't take it from us. I have done that as well, and I can tell you that is factual.
But we could be lying, so.
But it's scientifically and mathematically proven. So the bonus tip on how you can save money from compliance is don't get compliant straight away. Get all your quotes lined up, ready to be compliant, and just go out there looking for deals. You wouldn't get car insurance before you passed your driving test. So don't get insurance for your deal sourcing business until you prove that it works.
That's a way to save money. Me personally, I just got compliant straight away because I know, right, I've spent money on this now, I've got to go after it.
And also, if an opportunity lands in front of you, you want to have everything set up already.
Yeah, so, but that is a way to save money. You don't need to get compliant straight away. Just go out there and call agents and prove that deal sourcing works. Once you know it works, then you feel like, okay, I'll get compliant, I'll make the money back when I sell the deal. So yeah, really quick recap. You have to be compliant. You can't work with someone who's compliant and not be compliant. You need 4 things to be compliant, and those 4 things are going to set you back around $1,000. So obviously set up your company, make sure you've got a business address so that no one can just access your address and where you live forever. You need insurances, you need AML, you need PRS, and you need the ICO. And yeah, subscribe.
Why don't you ask that guy?